very excited to hear your thoughts here. Eddie, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Thank you so much for having me on, and thank you for that awesome compliment.
Yeah, of course, man. I know. We were talking offline, and you mentioned to me that when I went on the show, I was like, I can't see why you wouldn't get other Terminator guests, and you just did it. You went and started getting awesome Terminator guests, which is really incredible. So enough of the intro here. I really got to know what'd you think. Give me the pros and cons. How'd you feel about Terminator Dark Fate?
All right, so we'll start with the pros. The pros for me are pretty much the entire cast is stellar. I think the standout for me, it's easy to pinpoint Linda Hamilton because it's her triumphant return. But honestly, I gotta say, Mackenzie Davis. Mackenzie Davis just did something for me, and I don't know if it's so much a great acting performance. I know it's a great physical performance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's and this is my fist pump moment. If we're going to be doing that, if you guys want to hear what my fist pump moment is,
yeah.
every time she's swinging that chain, it's, and I was in a really good theater too. So I almost felt it really. Like it was so insane. Every time she swung the chain and then just, that was her weapon. So that's a big pro for me, the entire cast. The action, I know that when you were doing your quick thought review, you told me that you were really positive and thinking that I was going to love it. And the action, yes, the action is good. And I'll get into the cons, why I say it's just good, but it is good. It's solid action, right up your guys' alley. And I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I think that might be it for my pros.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. So now, I got to know. It's obviously good to have both sides. And we were both pretty hyped on it. What were the cons? What fell short for you?
The cons for me, well, the biggest con is that, and this is just my opinion, this film is actually getting really good positive feedback. So that's awesome. But for me personally, I left the theater going, I don't believe that that's the true continuation of what Cameron established at the end of T2. Everything from the visual aesthetic. So this goes back to the action. The action is good if it's just a movie called Dark Fate. Now, if you're telling me this is a Terminator film, 90% of this film is CGI, and it's not really even good CGI. To me, it's this cartoonish, especially when the Rev 9 is jumping, that was really off-putting to me, and a lot of slow-mo going on in there, too much slow-mo. You're telling me this is the continuation of T2, and 90% of T2 is practical. So right. I think they should have, as much as it's not, looked upon positively in today's era, they should have been we need to do this movie 90% practical and have a little bit of CGI, and they just went the other way. And for some people that works. But for me, the die-hard guy that has a podcast dedicated to it, and this is what I think about, for me, it just didn't fly.
Well, it is interesting you say it because, the contender people like to throw in the conversation now for greatest action movie of all time, T2 is the popular choice, is Mad Max Fury Road, a movie that largely is done with practical effects. And so it is interesting to think that approach was so successful recently in another movie in the genre that this one did lean so heavily into CGI. So if you were going to rank your Terminator movies, then is this what the critics have been saying for you, where this is the third best, or do you put it behind one of the other T films?
No. The critics are definitely correct. This is definitely the strongest sequel since T2. Although I would argue that maybe T2 3D Battle Across Time is stronger. The Universal Studios attraction. Because that had Cameron on board as the director, and I think that is the issue. Amongst many other issues, I think it's the fact that you don't have him on set every single day and approving things and giving it the Cameron touch. He wasn't there. When I had the guests on, when I had Brett Azar, who's Arnold's body double at the beginning for the young Arnold, he was the guy that was basically the guy that they put the CGI over. To Claudia Trujillo, she was the Maria. She was the one that was under the bridge when Mackenzie Davis arrives.
Yeah,
I had her on. And I said, was Cameron there? Did you ever see Cameron? And every single person said no.
Wow.
So,
interesting.
Yeah. So, I'm not surprised, but at the end of the day, when I left the theater, I was like, that's probably why. It didn't have Cameron there every single day. So it is the best since T2, but to me, that's not saying much.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, and then last question for you would be Schwarzenegger. How did you like him in this movie? Obviously, he's
Okay.
definitely at an advanced age now for Schwarzenegger, but I mean, did you like the choice?
I loved the choice. So this is something as a Terminator fan, we think like, okay, so pretend like he actually accomplishes his mission in the first film. He kills Sarah Connor. What happens? Like, what does a Terminator do? Because they can't self-terminate. That's said at the end of T2. So he has to kind of just do something. And this film explores that, and I thought that was brilliant. And apparently that's one of Cameron's biggest contributions to the film, coming up with this angle for Arnold. So and I love the beard. Like the second I knew he had a beard, I was like, yes, this is great. Just from a different like look. Like you have him as the bad guy in the first one, you have him as the good guy in the second one, but he's clean shaven in both. This one he has a beard, and it's a badass beard. So
yeah, it's a good looking beard. It's a good looking beard. I'm not gonna lie, it did inspire me to grow my beard out. So anyway,
yeah, I was
Eddie,
gonna say.
thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate your time today. Guys, check out Eddie Green's 101. He's got a podcast and a YouTube channel. And keep up the great work, man. I'm excited to see the stuff you're doing, and proud to have you as a supporter of the Action brand.
Absolutely, man. And I can't wait to get you back on.
All right. Thanks, brother.